Hey everybody, it is TorontoUnicorn here with a special guest, Fez. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
So this is a very fun story time. It is my first hotel party I've thrown in a year for my, closest swinger friends, and I have been looking forward to this for weeks, as I know Fez has with other guests. Isn't that right?
Yep, that is very true. I've been wanting this for a little while now.
Yeah, it was very exciting for a lot of people. So we did a vlog, and you can check on the screen right now. I'm going to put a little clip here so you can see that it was a full thing. I prepped the room, I put up the lights, I had a soundtrack. It turned into our soundtrack, which was. It was just songs I had not anticipated. I'm not gonna lie. What was I saw the sign that came on.
Yeah, yeah,
And I haven't listened to that since I was so much younger, and so it was just not my playlist. So that was a little weird, but the lights, and then I set up like my decor. So I had like my boob pillow and my dick pillow, and a charcuterie board, shaped like a dick and everything. So it was really cute, the way it was set up, like a sex party. And then you came over with your lovely wife beforehand, right? And
yep.
you can hear all about that in the video, which I think is part one, which is basically the story of our pregame, which is when I needed Mr. F. I called you Mr. F, sorry. I needed Fez to come and basically give me that D so that I could focus on the party. So it was better than a massage, okay? It was just the most relaxing thing afterwards. So yeah, so that's true, right? Me and you coordinated for you and your wife to come in advance, and your wife also agreed to film us, right?
Yeah, yeah. We had that planned for a little bit. We wanted to make sure that you got your action before your friends came,
Yeah.
and we made it happen, even with the setbacks.
Yeah, because there was a big, snowstorm unexpected, and you were delayed on the road a few hours, which was
Yeah,
sad for you guys too, and my side too. It was like one of those things where I'm like, is this gonna happen? Is this gonna fall apart? Right. So this night, it was good that it all finally came together. It was just great that it all went off without a hitch after that. Thank goodness. And we had buffer time. We had buffer time because you were able to accomplish a lot in 45 minutes.
yes, it was, and I'm glad that I'm almost glad that we didn't have more time, only because it was just me and one other guy.
I know it's true. Like, what else would we have done? Like, what would we have
Yeah,
had tea? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'd be
yeah,
like, hey, so does anyone else want to come?
yeah, yeah.
I would have. Yeah, it's true. Well, Terry was there too, so I mean, that would have been an easy way to spend the time. Also, if you wanted to switch it up, and I could even be of assistance in other ways too, right? Like,
Yeah.
so in the future, we could even consider things like that. Yeah, it's not all about that too. You guys can put something on the little agenda as well.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what I was saying is like even after our playtime, the third gentleman that you invited never showed up.
Yeah, that was hard because that was a lot of pressure, but I also brought a sex machine, so
Yeah,
there was technically always a mechanical option of penetration. Seriously, that
yeah.
can be a game changer.
But I was the machine.
You were the machine. You were the machine. We didn't need the machine. No one got on that sex machine.
Yeah.
Which, in a way, I was like, that was heavy to carry. Like, no one got on that. But it was good. It was fine. It's fine. So yeah, so we already talked about the sex that Fez and I had, and you can see that in the other vlog. You can have a
Yeah.
link to that in the description or the comments here. But now we're going to talk about the swinger hotel party. Now, there was more than just Fez and I, but the story time is going to be from the two of us, and you're going to get two versions. This is the YouTube censored version because I've got to be a good girl here in a different way that I can be a good girl there. So you got to come to my fan page to see the other version where I can talk much more unfiltered and like what I like to say is pleasantly vulgar. Okay, are you ready for a story time, Fez?
I am ready.
Okay. Is this your first hotel swinger party, or was this not?
Yeah, this is our first hotel swinger party.
Oh,
Like as I said in a previous video with you, we only really started getting into this lifestyle together at Oasis, and that was only about 6 months ago. So
so this is relatively new. So this was your first party.
everything. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So you have a certain precedent now, in a way, too.
Yeah.
It's dangerous for the future, but because I know that R went to a sex party recently in a hotel, and they had a much different experience
Yes.
because it was more like there were just a bunch of strangers around them having sex, and they felt a little uncomfortable. Like, where do you even stand? Like, it felt, and so I've heard that sex parties can be an art versus a science kind of thing. You have to have it flow well, otherwise it can be intimidating, especially if you're new, right? So for
Yeah.
me, I very much insisted in my own brain on being the host of these parties so that I could be the facilitator of the flow of the event as well, right? So that's why this invitation was different than maybe another one you might get from somebody in the future, right? So this one, it was a big enough room so that people had a non-sexual experience. That was important to me. I needed people to know it wasn't all about a bed and people all sitting on it waiting for the action to start, because that's a little intimidating even for the most seasoned of us at times. So that was important to me. So it was Spin the Bottle was my favorite part of this. First of all, I'm going to list off who was in present. It was Fez and his lovely wife, Terry. It was Mr. and Miss Jila Valentine, R, and Amelia. We decided to play Spin the Bottle. So we had set up a little food thingy in the kitchenette, because I got a kitchenette in the room, and it was like snacky stuff. Anyways, everybody at first. We didn't do Spin the Bottle. We did the
photo shoot. Yeah, the photo shoot. That was awesome.
Yeah, so I laid out all of my lingerie that I brought, which I brought a lot, and some of my favorite pieces. And then I set up my ring light in the hotel room, and I wanted to help people not only learn that they can look great in front of a camera, but how easy it is to do it with equipment they've already got in at home, right? So it was important to me to set it up so that people, even if they were a bit reluctant, would trust that I know what I'm doing, and like, let me just help, and like, we'll see what we get out of it, right? And so at first, some people were more reluctant than others, but I enjoyed watching Amelia blossom from very stiff and unsure in front of the camera. And then she even said this herself today on the phone. And she's just at the end, she was like, fuck it, I'm sexy. Like, she was like rolling with it, right? And it's like, that's so beautiful to see, because that's a gift you give to someone is, yes, you are sexy. It's just about lighting and camera angles usually, to be really honest, sometimes the most important thing you can learn is just how to present the best self you've got, not, work with what you've got, but the best possible advantage, which is ring lighting, for the most part, and angle. Anyways, I like to help people by doing that. So I had a lot of fun watching people try on all of the different outfits, and they looked like they had a smile on their face. You tried on something. What did you try on?
So I tried on a neon pink G-string.
You certainly did. Is
That was
anyone ever going to
hilarious.
see those photos, or is that just for you?
I think maybe for a price.
Yeah.
Because if it ever gets leaked, I want my money's worth, right?
Right. But yes, it was fun to see the guys participate, and I also enjoyed taking just normal clothes shots of people, right? Just face shots and action shots, because everybody needs good profile pictures, even if it's for your LinkedIn. Okay, so it's not all about sex, right? And so I'm like, I wanted people to get so Mr. Jila Valentine, I love the photos I took for him because he was fully clothed. It was just like side shots, happy shots, but he's got stuff to work with now. He's got fresh photos that maybe he wants to refresh one of his, Instagrams or Facebooks or whatever. And I like being able to give people the gift of good photos of them, because it gives them belief that they are beautiful and they're sexy, and then that belief is contagious, and like it can, get rooted, and it comes into something. So it's in my way, it's a gift to be able to give the gift of not the photos, but the ability for them to see themselves as beautiful, if they have struggled with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great opportunity to just have fun in front of a camera and just look good,
Yeah, look sexy, pop the
Yeah,
booty, feel
yeah,
like it's all in good fun. Like, it's not all about whether you look super hot, but whether you're having a good time,
yeah,
and like the energy of a photo says more than, anything else with your face or, anything else. So to have someone, look genuinely happy or comfortable in the camera is really important. And that's why I like to take the video method of photos, where I take screenshots of the video after, because you catch all the different micro expressions, and you can pause on the perfect stop and then take a shot.
yeah,
I also showed you guys that, right?
yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah. And you can come to my TorontoUnicorn Everything drawer to see content about how you actually can improve your content making abilities, because I was a fucking novice and I made a lot of fucking mistakes. I have to give these tips. So if you want to come to that channel, I give tips like that there. I think we smoked a little bit of weed, and then we played Spin the Bottle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you guys went outside in the -40 weather and smoked some weed.
Yeah.
Terry and I just laid in the bed and waited because we weren't that crazy.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we started playing Spin the Bottle. It was a blast. We had to remember all the rules, but
Yeah, it was funny because I love at first the reluctance in the room, because I just feel like oh yeah, isn't that a kid's game? No, we're gonna relive our adolescence tonight, and it's gonna be with a bunch of people consenting, and it's gonna be it's gonna be fun, and I love that. In a way, I push people to do it a bit because it's silly, yes, but it's fun, and
yeah,
it's a good icebreaker.
yeah. It wasn't even really pushing anyone. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like, hey, well, why not, right? We're gonna do more than this later anyway.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
it was definitely, as you said, a great icebreaker.
yeah. And we started with certain levels. So at first it was just
Yeah,
kissing, right? It wasn't anything intense. And
yeah,
so we would do a few rounds of that, and then it would get more and more and more to the point where people started scissoring. Okay, so
yeah. That was so funny.
oh, and then two different girls scissored after that. So like we
Yeah,
saw so many interesting and awesome things, and I think one of the things that R and I and Amelia specifically, I can't speak for Terry, but we couldn't get over how consistent the guys were about wanting to see titties.
titties.
Titties, right? Yes, every time the same reaction.
Yeah,
It was like they had never seen them before, and they're seeing them again for the first time, and it's like, didn't you just have the same happiness Tuesday? But they're the same titties. But
they're
you were
just
not happy
titties.
every time,
Yep, titties.
right?
Yeah,
And then you ask them to
I
drop them on you.
yeah. Well, ours are outrageously just huge, and
Yeah.
I've never seen tits that big before in my life. And I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? Just drop them on my face. I want to see what it feels like.
Oh, what did
Hit
it feel like?
one hit my face like square in the face. It hurt my nose.
Can you?
And yeah, so she like dropped both of them, wiggled them around, and my head was like going like this, just from the sheer weight. Just yeah,
It's like
it
a
was
fun world of like just
yeah,
boom. Yeah.
yeah. As I said, I could have died a happy man that moment.
Wow. That was funny. And I loved how people were like giggly a bit, like it was really fun to feel the energy was fun and not weird. And then it progressed, right? It got to the point where the game kind of dissolved
Yeah,
because people started messing around, and then someone started to join in, and I was like, well, at that point,
yeah,
stopping people if we asked the game to continue. So that was when we all kind of joined together. Now this is YouTube. I have to remember that. So I'm going to be very clear that there's going to be another version on my fan page, and you're going to want to hear me relax talking about it. So this is the YouTube version. There was a lot of human pyramids, a lot of people interacting at one time. More and this was a bucket list night for me, in the sense of it was the most people at one time engaged in one scene. I was definitely the most 7 people, most.
yeah,
So, yeah, by a long shot, I think. So for me, that was pretty cool because everybody found a spot. I was, again, YouTube. I was on my knees giving some D attention, who was giving his mouth to some other girl whose mouth was to some other, and keep going, right?
yeah,
It was just one of those one of a kind experiences.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience. Everybody was connected in a way.
Yeah. And, yeah,
Yeah,
people would rotate with different people, and it wasn't weird. There was no politics. It was like people were just fluid about where the energy went, right? Which I liked. Yeah, I really liked the sharing of all of the energy in one big. I don't do that a lot. I like it. Group sex is something I've been wanting to pursue, but I had lack of a few partners, so it was a pipe dream. But for me, group sex is exciting to me, Right? Group
Yeah.
sex is exciting to me. I just there's something about it that's new and fun and hot as long as it's the right people for me, right?
Yeah,
At one
absolutely.
point, though, I found myself now. R and I don't play, and we're the only two in the room that don't. And we made that clear to everyone else because we wanted to make sure everyone knew who was allowed to play with who, because there was consent was clearly everywhere, right? And so R and I don't play, but R and I know we don't play, so we don't need anyone to tell us we don't play. But at one point, I found myself beside R, and I just very much was like, okay, stick to the left, or like, she's gonna be on the right. I just think to
Yeah.
the left, and so that's what we did. But it wasn't a big deal. It was like I thought at first. I'll be honest with you, the last few hotel parties I ran were a year ago, and R and I were very good friends, but I still didn't invite her to any of them because I didn't have sex with R, and I felt weird with anybody at my parties that I didn't have sex with. I just had a limit and a boundary there. And it goes to show that sometimes limits and boundaries can shift and evolve with comfort,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes what someone needs at the beginning might not be what they need, later. So that was interesting. I didn't know that. I thought I would never be okay with it, but it turns out I am.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
you guys had a blast. It was
all,
so nice to have both those, like, both good friends in that room and just shoot the shit half the time.
I love being able to include her because she's one of my best friends, and like to have her not there was a deficit in my friend circle, right? And so it was great to be able to include her, even though we didn't have to do anything we didn't normally do, right?
Yeah.
Um, but the only thing is, like, you and her definitely had sex too. But me and Arv would make so many funny comments about how all the guys had to use hot towelettes on their dick between us so that we didn't get cooties from the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
I didn't want our cooties, and she doesn't want my cooties.
Yeah.
So, isn't it funny how some women are bonded sexually and some are not? And so, for Miss Jala Valentine, I was like eating her out. I think I was like doing lots of things.
Yeah.
I think I played with everyone's boobs for the most part, besides ours. Like it was like I had fun playing with girl boobs and stuff. Like it was fun. And then with Miss Jila, I remember I was just being of assistance. A lot of people were doing things to her in certain places, and I was helping on the front end. That's all I can say on YouTube. But it's just a lot of people, a lot of hands on people at the same time, and everyone should experience that. It is. I want to experience that where everyone's hands are on me at the same time, and that's like every hole of mine is like a priority to somebody. Like that would be
Yeah.
kind of cool and unique. So what was some of your favorite parts about the whole night?
Well, as you know, I was with every single woman that was there.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be my top ever. Like
Yeah.
that in itself is like my favorite moment of all time.
5 women.
Yeah, and I gave them. It's not like I didn't give them the proper time they needed or wanted. I gave them each a decent amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to completion with each of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one point where three of you were just laying beside each other in awe, just ah.
Yeah. We just
Uh,
sometimes it's surprising that your dick can still go, and that's what
yeah,
we're all laying there being like, really? Are you serious?
yeah, and it only took me a couple minutes at some points just to bounce back, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I could facilitate all of you.
It's true, and I got to see your wife with the strap on, like doing
Hmm.
things to certain people. So like it was really fun, and girl play was always exciting to watch, right? And all that. So yeah, I mean, I even touched Amelia's boobs sexually for the first time. Like we gotta understand, Amelia and I are new friends, and like the sexual side for us is there, like the potential's certainly there, but like we're new to it.
Yeah,
So we crossed like our first line, which was like, did I kiss her? I don't even know if I kissed her.
I don't recall.
But that's what I mean. Like I warmed
No,
up.
I think you did during spin the bottle.
Oh, did you know that I was only ever landed on once? It was
Really?
almost a statistical improbability. Yes. At one point, I wondered if I was geographically located in a place where the bottle couldn't land.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
It's
it was
really
funny when Mr. and Mrs. Giles Valentine kept landing on each other too, right? Like I'm like this game is rigged.
I know, but like, what are the chances, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. But I remember afterwards, we all felt really comfortable still. We all stuck around, right? We had snacks. We brought the food to the bed,
yeah,
which we did, by the way, we did use the No More Wet Spot squirting blanket. We put that on the bed before we had our party, and it was used. I saw something land on it, and it would never made it to the bedding, right? Because you slept on
yeah,
that bed.
yeah.
There was
We slept on that bed that night, and it was as dry as it can be, even after a water fountain.
Right? And
Yeah,
so this is literally the end review of the No More Wet Spot review blanket. I've got to say, guys, on my channel, I have done a review on this video on this blanket twice now for a reason. One of them is that I do get affiliate links, so I do get a small commission if you purchase from the link in this video or on my website only, not if you go to the website on your own. But this blanket could be the difference maker in whether you get sex or not, because if there's somebody who does make a mess in sex or like does squirt or something, they might not be comfortable or want to have sex because it comes with cleanup. And if you can eliminate that issue, you may get somebody a little more willing to have sex. And I 100% mean it. If you knew what goes on in our brain sometimes about why we don't want to fuck, there's sometimes mitigation strategies if you can fix them. So that's what I'm saying. That's the end review for the No More Wet Spot blanket. We put the blanket down, and it was fantastic for a party like this because everyone felt okay to be themselves and to like let themselves relax and have things
yeah,
happen.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a really awesome night, and the snacks were fantastic. That you can see in the vlog the donuts, the giant donuts that you brought. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this on YouTube, but at one point we did put one of those donuts somewhere and try to eat it off. But that's it. That's all I'm saying. Um,
I
anyways,
wonder where that was, Toronto Unicorn.
yeah, yeah. But basically, it was a fantastic party. I think for me, it was the good feelings of the room after that I think I took with me after. It was the feelings of running a good party, running a party where people felt comfortable. I know it must be a bit intimidating to show up to a hotel room and hope you have a good time, right? So I wanted to always make sure everyone felt comfortable and all of that. And I feel like I did a good job. And I think that people now they have content. Now they have photos of themselves from the photo shoot. So they got like almost like a takeaway gift from the party too, which is kind of nice. It's like a loot bag. It's like a sexy photo loot bag from the party, including
Yeah,
yours.
absolutely. It was amazing. Everybody seemed more than satisfied at the end, and very tired.
Mhm. It was a fantastic room. It was a fantastic group of people.
Yeah,
And I've got to say, that's why I keep it tight knit, because if you have the wrong energy in that room, it's like, it's.
it can be contagious to other people, right? Like having that bad energy, and then someone else is like, "Oh, well, then I can't have a good time because this person's not having a good time," and
Yeah.
it can be contagious and not fun. But
Yeah. And especially for me, girl energy is very important that I very, very carefully curate. I actually have a surplus of women for these parties, though, which is interesting. I have the challenges of the men. So for me, it's not like I don't have men who would want to come to fuck at my sex parties, but it's for me, I only invite men I have had sex with. That is so far my limit. I
mhm.
am potentially negotiating a change for one person on the next party because of personality comfortable level, right? So I haven't had sex with him, but okay, right? So that's going to be new for me too, but I think that I need to expand my horizons, or my sex parties are going to be a little redundant, in a way.
I'll have to take on even more.
Right, right.
I'm not upset about that.
As long as I get mine first, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
As long as I get mine first. Because then I
Yeah.
don't care what you feast on. Feast away. If I'm fucking savaged, or hungry, sorry, ravaged was the word, not savage. Ravaged. I'm not going to enjoy you eating fucking meat over there. I would want you to make me feel full so that I can feel full for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I had a fantastic time watching you with every woman there, because I knew for you it was a big accomplishment to be able to say you did that. Any person would take a trophy home like that, you know.
Yeah.
You did a fantastic job, and yeah, and you guys, and Terry spent the night and then drove home the next morning, right? And the rest of us left. So that was the PG version, PG rated version for YouTube. I can't wait to go to my fan page to finish the story, because there's more to say. So
Much more.
yeah, so let's get going, and we'll see you there, hopefully.
See you guys there.
I can handle after dark stories. Can you? Come to my fan page.